Sanjay Jha is now joining me on the phone line right now. Sanjay Jha, your comments. Ajay Misra Teni, the son of, Ashish Mishra, the son of Ajay Misra Teni, has been granted bail by the Allahabad High Court in the Lakhimpur Kheri violence case.
Well, I think first and foremost, the granting of a bail is not an acquittal. And I think the opposition has always said that as long as the Home Minister remains in his job, as in the Minister of State for Home, you can't really expect a very impartial and fair investigation. You see, the court has to only respond to what the prosecution really puts up there, right? And I think at the end of the day, I mean, this is a problem. The problem is that the investigating agencies, if they're compromised, I mean, the court has to only respond to the evidence submitted before it. And we all know that, the son of Mr. Mishra, Ashish Mishra, was frankly absconding for a long time. He came after a lot of duress and public and media pressure. And the Supreme Court is actually monitoring this case. I think this is far from over. I mean, at the end of the day, the critical questions remain unanswered, which is the very inflammatory speech made by the minister himself, where he said, he pointed a finger and he said, we can teach people a lesson. All those were factors that played into the violence that happened thereafter in Lakhimpur Kheri. And I'm very confident that the people in Western Uttar Pradesh who are voting today will completely reject the Bharatiya Janata Party, because it truly has been an anti-farmer party to begin with.
Right, so you do believe that BJP, with keeping Ajay Misra Teni in his job so far, despite all the pressure, despite all the demands from not just the opposition parties, of course, they wouldn't listen to the opposition parties, but the protesting farmers as well, that who they claim to now, of course, understand here, listen to. The fact is that they're basically brazening it out by keeping him in his job still.
Absolutely. You see, we have to recognize one thing. I mean, what happened at Lakhimpur Kheri was perhaps one of the most horrendous manifestations of the kind of pathetic governance we have in India. I mean, you actually have it on record that they drove over the farmers, and that led to another retaliation of brutal violence. I mean, basically somebody has to be accountable for it. And I'm sure that when the final verdict is passed by the court, when actually the full case is really put up before it, and I hope that is done without any kind of prejudice on the part of the investigating agencies, there is no way that politicians from the BJP can get away with it. They are responsible. We all know that they call the farmers Khalistanis and separatists and terrorists and so on, and they always thought it was politically motivated, which is wrong. The farmers were in fact protesting for why they felt an injustice was be done. I mean, that's the reason why Prime Minister Narendra Modi had to withdraw the 3 farm laws.
Right, Sanjay Jha, but the BJP's line of defense so far has been, of course, they're not going to, like I reiterate, they're not going to act under any kind of pressure from the opposition, to say the least. But the fact is, their line of defense so far, in response to the demands calling for the resignation of Ajay Misra Teni, has been that they are following the due course of law. There's nothing that they have to hide. They're not protecting anybody at the moment. In fact, just hold your thought over there.